Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Hosted by Pastor Lester Lewis, co-host Charlize Wilkerson and Leroy Kerr. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
It can be hard for any person with a drug or alcohol addiction to quit, but women in particular may be afraid to get help due to possible legal or social fears. There are many factors that hinder women from seeking the treatment they need due to family obligations or other things. Today on Ask the Messengers, you will hear from a few women who defy the odds and share their stories with our street reporter, LaShawn Battle, who is also a woman in recovery. Through their addiction experience, they found the strength to no longer use the substances that once controlled their lives. Yes, women do recover, and here are their stories.
Growing up, I had been bullied in school, and I felt like an outsider. I felt like an outcast. At that time, I became friends with a girl who was popular. And one day, I asked her, "How do you have all these friends?" And she was like, "Well, do you party?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And she asked me, "Do you drink?" We experienced a lot of stuff together, drinking and using and growing up.
What was your drug of choice?
Crack cocaine is my first drug of choice, and then it turned into alcohol.
And how old were you when you first picked up?
I was 25 years old the first time I saw crack cocaine.
And what made you pick up?
I was tired of not being the cool kid. I was the only black person in my brigade, and everybody else was doing it, and I just wanted to be cool like them.
And when you first used drugs, what did you feel?
I felt a part of. I felt like I had just joined the coolest gang, and I felt like they liked me now.
What was your drug of choice?
Crack cocaine.
And how long did you use?
For about 15, 16 years.
When I was 17 years old, my mother passed away in front of me due to a blood clot, which sort of started me on my path. I gave up 2 full rides. I started drinking heavily, and I fell in love with the lifestyle. By the time I was 22 years old, my father passed away due to pneumonia. I found him, and at that point, all bets were off. I was on a suicide mission. I dabbled with cocaine, powder cocaine, and then found crack cocaine and alcohol. And I used anything and everything I could get my hands on. So then I decided that Ohio was my problem and I needed to move. So I moved to North Carolina, hoping that that would solve my problem, but I continued to drink because that's legal. So from North Carolina, when I was there, I met a guy from Detroit, and I decided, let's move to Michigan. So within an hour of getting off the bus, I had dabbled in opiate pain prescriptions and stuff like that back in Ohio, but within an hour of getting off the bus, I had a needle in my arm and I was shooting dope. I got pregnant with my oldest, and when she was 9 months old, and I used off and on with her, when she was 9 months old, I walked away from her, and I was introduced into human trafficking, and through coercion of drugs, and it was easily accessible because the heroin was provided every day and the crack cocaine. I sought help a few years after that, once the ring was busted by the feds. I went into a program. I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and due to the fact that I wasn't allowed pregnant in the program, I had nowhere to go. So I was introduced to Southwest Detroit, and I, at that point, was a prostitute on Michigan Avenue. I gave birth to my son. I went into labor. I gave birth to him 2.5 months early, and as a result of my using, he died at 7.5 months. So at that point, like, I had nothing to live for. So I was on the streets for a few years. And through using IV drugs, I contracted hepatitis B and hepatitis C. And I went into liver failure. And then about 6 months after that, I was sepsis from shooting dope. And the whole time I was in the hospital, I was having crack cocaine and heroin delivered, and I left every time AMA.
You know, I grew up with a lot of brokenness in my home. I had fathers kind of in and out of my life. I just never felt like I was good enough or pretty enough or smart enough or athletic enough, whatever it was. And then I went through some sexual abuse for a few years as like a little one. So all those things were just a recipe for addiction to happen, and that's what happened. I was very young, started experimenting with drugs and alcohol. So I kind of found my identity in the drug scene. Like, I was good at partying, and that's what I like to do. And it kind of spiraled out of control, and it went from just partying to selling drugs. And I kind of became known even at a super young age, like 13, 14, 15, as a girl that could hook you up with drugs. And those drugs turned into hard drugs, and I got introduced to meth, and then it was just total downhill from there.
I am a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder. I have almost 9 years of recovery. I started my journey when I was probably 13 years old. I lived in the country. We didn't have a lot of activities to do, so there was a lot of time spent on back roads and cornfields, partying. We would drink. Then I started smoking pot. Probably by the time I was 14 years old. One of the first times that I had a drinking episode where my parents found out, I had been at a friend's house and I had drank so much that I blacked out. So I did not go home that night. I stayed all night with that person. Made it home the next day, and my mom and dad were extremely upset, at what had happened. So they then put me into a 28-day drug and alcohol treatment program. I was 14 years old, in the city, and had drank one time. So that was my first experience with even hearing the word addiction or alcoholic. That was really just not influential to me at all. I went right back home and went right back to doing what I was doing before I went there. I continued down the road with pills, acid, mushrooms, lots of drinking, smoking pot. Around the time of 17 is when I first tried cocaine.
Women have always been abused in my life. So I carried all this in my life. I became an alcoholic. I became a coke addict. And this was the only thing that was getting me through. And I had access to jewelry. I had access to alcohol, drugs, clothes, coats, yachts, whatever I wanted, basically. But I had no self-love. So all of these physical things covered up all of the hurt and the pain that I was dealing with inside of me. I know my lowest point, I was on the My Life album. That was the darkest point of my life. I was being abused. I was abusing myself. I got tired of living, so I was almost on the verge of suicide. It's not even almost on the verge of suicide. I was suicidal. I was ready to kill myself because I hated the way I looked. I hated the sound of my voice. I hated everything about me. I had no place to put everything I was feeling. Like when I was saying I wanted to be happy. I really wanted to be happy, honestly. When I wrote the song My Life, if you looked at my life and see what I see, what I was seeing on a regular basis was abuse, drugs, self-hate. I was just the walking dead. And when there's no spirit man to help you through. You know, your spirit man is the greater man in you that shuts all of this down and says, you know, when people are saying that you can't do it, your spirit man say, yes, I can. I didn't have a yes, I can. I had a no, I can't, and it's never going to get done, and I'm never going to do this, and I'm going to die right now. And guess what? I don't care. I don't want to live. I just want to die. And that's the spirit that was on the My Life album.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
If you or someone you know is battling with any type of cancer, you need to read the book by Laverne Moore Slaughter, God Encounters Are Real. In her book, she tells how through prayer and faith, God healed her and set her free from stomach cancer. For more information and to get your copy, visit www.encountersarereal.net.
Hi, my name is Brenda Owens. I work at Greenfield Hair Collection, and I love doing hair. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, actually. And I do a little bit of everything. This style right here is a pin curl. This is my weekly client, Lenise, short and sassy. She just got a fresh haircut last week. The name of the salon is Greenfield Hair Collection. We're located on Greenfield between Outer Drive and Curtis. I'm on the second level. My name is Brenda. My phone number is 313-729-8194. Give me a call. I love what I do.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
Research has shown that although men are more likely than women to report both a mental health and addictions, women are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and eating disorders.
First time doing coke, I was 17, working on Disney Channel, and I was with a couple friends, and they introduced me to it. I was scared because my mom always told me that your heart could just burst if you do it. But I did it anyways, and I loved it. I felt out of control with the coke the first time that I did it.
One of my worst days of using was standing on Plymouth and Schaefer, waiting for someone to pick me up, and my son being on a school bus and being beat up because his mother was prostituting.
I've been to the prison 7 times, you know, and 7 for stealing people's stuff. you know, and I just got, you know, I was just tired. You know, I would go in the mall and steal something, and you can tell I had something on me, and I would walk past the police and saying, I would dare them to stop me because it's mine. This is my stuff.
Finally, another girl told me about a number, and I started going to treatment, and I went to the Lighthouse. And I've experienced a lot of things on the street, multiple rapes, assaults, beatings, and the accumulation. I was in and out of treatment, and then finally, in 2017, I was in one of the largest federal raids in Detroit history. I was taken out of the Victory Hotel. And then about a week later, I was kidnapped for 2.5 days, and I was pregnant this whole entire time with my youngest. And I entered treatment February 27, 2017. I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She was born addicted, but it was for the medication to get me off the drugs. And I named her Serenity Grace. I ended up relapsing August 6, 2017. I decided to try heroin one last time while I was on Vivitrol, and it didn't work, but the 2 people I was with overdosed on me, which scared me, and I ran back to treatment, and I completed, and I've been clean ever since August 7, 2017. I have custody of both of my kids. I had so many warrants. I cleaned all that up, and I started just putting one foot in front of the other and believing that God sometimes gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, and that I went through all this for a greater purpose than me, and to give hope, because I was so broken that I thought I was nothing more than a prostitute, and to be treated the way that I was treated, that through God and through the love of 12-step programs and my counselors and my therapist, I started to love myself again.
For the next quite a bit of time, I've bounced around from house to house and treatment center to treatment center and group homes, and I had been to probably 8 or 9 treatment centers trying to get clean. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, what more do I have to lose before I get it? Like, how much more trauma and abuse and loss do I need to go through before I wake up? And I called my grandma up and I said, Grandma, I'm gonna get high and I don't wanna get high again, so can you help me? Can you come get me? So they came and picked me up, and it must have been on a Sunday because they took me to church that night, and Teen Challenge was there. And for the first time in a long, long time, I felt hope, just hope starting to rise up, like maybe this could work for me too.
Around the time of 17, is when I first tried cocaine. That wasn't something that I did daily, but I did it whenever it was available. After high school, I was with a boyfriend of mine who later turned into my husband. He was also somebody that used drugs regularly and drank a lot. Him and I together started using cocaine regularly, and did this for several years with no consequence. We had our own house, we were raising his daughter, we had stable jobs, paying our bills. Everything was normal, we felt. And then out of the blue, I got really, really sick. Couldn't get out of bed, didn't really know what was going on. I ended up going to my parents' house, where I just kind of slept for a couple of days and just slept. I couldn't get up, I couldn't do anything. My parents were concerned, so they took me down to the hospital, had some testing done. The hospital realized that I had had a stroke.
When I was 5 years old, someone that I really, truly, truly trusted molested me. And that made my teenage life terrible. So all my teenage life, I hated myself. I didn't want to look at myself. And I thought I was ugly because I thought what happened, you know, when I was molested, I thought it was my fault. All my life, I thought it was my fault. All my life, as a teenager, I've seen women abused, called names, being beaten so badly. You can hear them screaming in the next, you can hear the next door neighbor neighbor screaming at the top of her lungs, "You're going to break my back, you're going to kill me," and see women running down the stairs and their husbands or boyfriends running after them and hitting them so hard and stomping them and kicking them and punching them to where they were bleeding. And this is all I've ever seen.
We'll be right back with more of Ask the Messengers.
I'm Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Head Injury, where restoring you to your previous level of functioning is our goal. We offer services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, aquatic therapy, massage therapy, and counseling. An automobile accident is an unfortunate event. If you feel that you or a loved one can benefit from our services, you can be reached at 248-415-2500. We look forward to hearing from you.
I am Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer, informing you that the Wayne County Treasurer's Office is now again open to the public. To adhere to social distancing guidelines, visits to the office must be by appointment only. To make an appointment, visit the Treasurer's Office website at treasurer.waynecounty.com. And for the safety of everyone, a face covering is required. Even though we are not foreclosing on any properties in 2020, I encourage taxpayers to continue making payments to avoid foreclosure in the future. This can be done online at treasurer.waynecounty.com, by visiting a DivDat kiosk located near you, by using the Wayne County mobile app, by phone, or by mailing payments to the office. If you need to visit our office, you can set up an appointment on our website, where you can also obtain kiosk locations and other valuable information. You can email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990 to set up an appointment or for further assistance. We look forward to helping you.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
The National Prescription Drug Takeback addresses a crucial public safety and public health issue. According to the 2016 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 6.2 million Americans misuse controlled prescription drugs. The study shows that a majority of abused prescription drugs were obtained from family and friends, often from the home medicine cabinet. The DEA's Takeback provides year-round drug disposal opportunities for Americans to prevent drug addiction and overdose deaths. Take a moment to find an authorized collector in your area today.
You really have to lean into the people that are trying to support you, like my family, like Mike and Phil. You know, you really have to surrender, because that's when the change is going to happen.
I just knew something had to happen, and I had heard of the 12-step program. And I called a 1-800 number, and they gave me directions on where to go from that point.
Just humble yourself and love yourself, and know that somebody loves you, and find that special someone that you can understand and they can understand you. And just hold on, just hold on.
What helps me remain clean is I work a 12-step program. I'm also a certified peer recovery coach with the Lighthouse, so working with other addicts and just sharing my experience, strength, and hope with them. And then, of course, I go to church regularly every Sunday, and just finding my higher power, which is who I call God.
I would say if you're struggling, reach out to somebody, go to a church, look up a Teen Challenge phone number, call somebody, reach out for help. That's my #1 recommendation for them.
The power that my community gives me by supporting me in trainings and making sure that I'm taking care of myself and asking questions of things that I see in the community and my feedback. My community's been my biggest supporter in my last I'm gonna say 5 years of recovery, because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have even seen the passion that I have in myself. I wouldn't have recognized that for myself, I don't think. If I didn't have people there encouraging it and supporting it and wanting more of it, basically. So I'm very, very blessed today to have such a great supporting community that I'm involved with.
A lot of us don't get a second chance or get a chance to talk about it this late in life. If you're a teenager or if you're however old you are, right now, talk about it. Go to somebody and speak about it. Don't let anybody tell you that you are not beautiful, you're not smart, you're not strong, you're not powerful, you're not influential.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
We hope the stories shared have helped someone today. As always, we appreciate the women within our Women Do Recover series for their courage to share their stories. Are you a woman in recovery, and would you like to share your own experience, strength, and hope? We would like to hear from you. All you have to do is record a video sharing your addiction to recovery story, or you can email us and we can set up a Zoom link for you. No matter what you are going through today, please understand that you do not find what you do not seek. Yes, women do recover. See you next time on the Ask the Messengers TV show.
Our prayers and our sympathy go out to those who have lost loved ones as a result of their battle with addictions. Though they may not be with us physically, their light will forever shine within the spirits and within those family members who have been left behind. Ask the Messengers, we offer these prayers up for you.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.